What's up YouTube? My name's Zane. Today I'm bringing you a True Draco deck profile. This deck will have no URs, as you can see, only SR or lower, and it's a very solid option for the Synchro event, very competitive. It doesn't play any Synchro monsters, obviously, because it's a True Draco deck and you don't play monsters in the extra deck for Monarchs Erupt, but it's very, very viable for the event. The only limits to the deck are Majesty Maiden and Dynamite are both at 1 in this Synchro Festival. But for the deck profile, we're playing the 1 Majesty Maiden. We're playing 3 Ignis. Obviously, this one's really good. It's unlimited, so we play 3. And then 1 Dynamite Knight. We're also playing the Dreath. This one's basically just another 1 tribute True Draco monster that you can search. And basically what it does, your opponent can't target face-up True Draco or True King monsters on the field with card effects except this one. And it they also can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And then if it leaves the field, you can special summon a True Draco from your deck. So it's pretty good. It's just another option to be able to search. Gives you more monsters, because you need a few more monsters in the deck. You can't just play the 5. We also play Metaltron. This is a lot like a Masterpiece, but obviously a watered down version. It requires 3 tributes, and it's unaffected by card effects of the same type as you use to tribute summon it. So if you tribute a spell and a trap, it's unaffected by spell or traps. You tribute a spell, monster, trap, it's unaffected by everything. So this card can be really powerful, especially in combination with Kaiser Coliseum. Be almost impossible for most decks to out, especially in the Synchro Festival. And that's all the monsters we're playing. And then play 3 Card of Demise. This card's insane. Draw 3. You play this in any deck that really can play it. The restriction is you can't special summon. Also, you have to discard your hand during the end phase. But this card's insanely good in this deck. 3 Pot of Duality. You don't do really any special summoning. The only special summoning you do is with the Dreath effect, and also occasionally True King's Return. But other than that, there's no special summoning. So Pot of Duality is really powerful. We play 2 Pot of Desires. This card, you don't have to play this card. I would play it personally. I think the value of getting a +1 is more valuable than the risk of banishing like a Dynamite or a Majesty Maiden, for example, because you don't necessarily need those cards to win the game. You can still win without those cards, but I think that's the +1's more valuable. But we're only playing 2 because this deck goes through cards pretty fast, and drawing into another one with either a Card of Demise, or you don't want to see it off Duality, or the True Draco Heritage drawing you cards. Like it's a hard once per turn, so you don't want to draw one more. The same logic could be applied to Pot of Duality, but I feel like Pot of Duality is more valuable. It gets you, it's a consistency card. It gets you to more you can see more of your engine. I guess you get to see 3 cards instead of 2 cards. So I think it's valuable. But you could make the argument to cut 1 Pot of Duality as well. We play the 1 Dragonic Diagram. This card's insane. If it was at 3, this deck would be crazy. But you could also play the Terraforming, but the Terraforming's a UR, so we didn't include it in here. If you played Terraforming, I'd probably also play a Chicken Game along with it to have 2 targets for the Terraforming. Play the 3 Kaiser Coliseum. This card is insanely good in this deck. If you guys don't know what it does, if there's one, basically, if you control 1 monster, your opponent can only control 1 monster. If you control 2 monsters, your opponent can only control 2 monsters. So a lot of times you just sit on Kaiser Coliseum plus 1 monster, and your opponent can only summon 1 monster. So that means they can't, go for any synchros, because it takes 2 monsters to make a synchro. So, it's going to be really powerful in the Synchro Festival. We also play, for the True Draco spells, 3 True Draco Heritage and 3 Disciples. They're just really good. Heritage draws you a lot of cards. And Disciples keeps recycling all of your cards and keeps your engine going. They both pop a spell or trap when they are sent to the graveyard. We also play 3 Waterfall of Dragon Souls. This card's really good in this deck, especially since Majesty Maiden and Dynamite are limited to 1 each. Basically, it's a trap card that's a reinforcement of the army for worm monsters. Add 1 worm monster from your deck to your hand, but it also has an effect that you can use that says send any number of worm monsters from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard. Draw cards equal to the number of monsters sent to the graveyard +1. So say you have you send 1 from your hand, you'll be able to draw 2 cards. So it just cycles cards. If you clog on too many monsters, which doesn't happen a lot, you're mainly using it for the first effect, but that effect definitely can come up as well. This is the main reason to play this deck. We play 3 skill drain and 3 more skill drain, essentially. Monarch's Erupt is essentially a skill drain if you control a tribute summon monster and don't have cards in your extra deck. And it negates everything except for tribute summon monsters. So this card is insanely powerful in this deck. If you open either of these, like, most decks can't win without like a form of back row removal like Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, or something. And then to finish it out, we just play the 3 True King's Return and 3 True Draco Apocalypse. These are really nice. They're also good. That's another reason why Waterfall is a good card, because if you open like a True Draco trap plus Waterfall, you can like use the True Draco trap on your opponent's turn and the Waterfall to search a monster to be able to tribute summon on your opponent's turn. So the fact that this is a trap card doesn't really matter too much. They have to set it and activate it, because you can just use these on the opponent's turn and be able to summon on the opponent's turn anyways. This is the version I would play with no ultra rares. There are a few ultra rares that I would play if you do have the budget for them, and that's probably Imperial Order. We'd play that. Also, like I said, the Terraforming, and I probably accompany that with a Chicken Game. You can pop this with the True Draco Speller Traps too, so your opponent can't use it. Some more cards you could play are Solemn Judgment. That card's obviously insanely good in this deck. It stops Harpy's Feather Duster, it stops Lightning Storm, it stops Twin Twister if anybody's playing those cards. Also, it's just generically a good card even if they don't have those cards, but the main reason to play it is because it stops those blowout cards that you would normally auto lose to. Same thing, Imperial Order also does a very similar thing. It can stop the Lightning Storm, the Feather Duster. It can stop Twin Twister if you chain it to the Twin Twister. So these cards are really strong in this deck. You can also play the other Solemns too, like Solemn Strike. This card's insane. Just another generic trap card that's really powerful. It's also good. It's good going first or second. So yeah, I'd recommend playing those if you do have the budget for it. But if not, this build is still extremely consistent and extremely powerful. Like if you open any monsters plus Kaiser Coliseum, or you open Skill Drain or Monarch's Erupt, it's gonna be really difficult for your opponent to win the game. But I'm a big fan of this deck. It has it can break boards with the True Draco spell and traps. You tribute them to pop spells, monsters, and spells, and they just do so much. But going first, it can just establish a floodgate, and your opponent can't play the game. So if you're trying to grind and get all the gems for the Synchro Festival, this deck usually wins pretty quickly too, so you can get a lot of games in. And I'd say it would have a pretty high win percentage against most of the Synchro decks, because you're probably going to see a lot of like Adamancipator, Dinos, stuff like that, like heavy combo Synchro decks, like the Junk Synchron deck as well. But this deck just completely blows those decks out of the water if it goes first, and if it goes second, you still have a chance as well, able to break the boards, because their boards aren't going to be insane like they would be in the normal TCG, because they only have access to synchros. So we're going to end on like 2 negates or something, and you can play through that pretty easily. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this deck profile. Let me know if you guys play this in the Synchro Festival. I'm going to be playing it. We'll also be playing other decks in the Synchro Festival, so make sure to tune into my streams. I stream 4 to 5 days a week. Join the Discord. It's in the description for all the details on the stream schedule and everything. We have a lot of people in the Discord. There's people to play games with, to just hang out and chat with, whatever. It's a good time in there. But yeah, I appreciate you guys consuming my content and watching my streams and everything, and I'll see you guys in the next video.